Hey guys, Nicole over at Drunken Yarn. Thanks for tuning in on this Thursday, 10th of January. Oi, 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 oi. I really need some hair and makeup here. Obviously, I need to get some more yarn out the door so I can afford a dedicated hair and makeup crew. Maybe some Botox and the whole sticky shtick. Anyway, are you kidding me? Who is this? So, it's my husband. Be right back! And we're back. So, continuing on with what I was saying before I was interrupted by my husband, who I have to take his phone calls. You know, that's how it kind of rolls when you're doing the old marriedy ski thing. Oh, I want to show you my Drunken Yarn t-shirt. Isn't this cute? Me and Tia made these. We did this. I put them up on this on my Facebook site like a couple of months ago, and we made them out on the porch with some silk paint and some just like a really cool processing that we did. So if you're interested in knowing how we did that, just message me. Anyway, so back to what I wanted to talk about today. First, I have just a little gripe, and I guess it has to do with like small businesses operating in small towns, and it's a struggle sometimes. Like I have little, now I'm going public about it, little gripes with some of the people who even work locally where I am and who interact with small businesses. But you know what? I'm saying this here and they're probably not even watching it because they don't support small local businesses. With that being said, you know, one of my really good friends forwarded me over a video, and her town did this great video, and it was cute, and then they obviously have a Mac, and good for them. They put some background music in, and yippee skippy. But like, she's one of the like most thriving businesses in her town, and because of like small town politics, she wasn't even featured in it. And I'm like, really? That's kind of ridiculous. And you know, I guess if you're working in a small town, that's like something that I didn't really appreciate. You know, a lot of small town bullshit, and I'm just gonna say it. And I don't know how. I'm really interested to see if you are in a small town and you're thriving and you're, you know, jiving and all that. How are you doing it? Because I'm actually trying to use my whole like, just be centered, don't let it bother me. But you know what? There's times that it bothers me because, you know, I put a lot of time into my business, and when you snub me and like that's your job is to sort of notice my business and help me improve my business, it's like, kind of bugs me. You shouldn't be taking taxpayer dollars for being a small business developer if that's not what you're doing, if you're focusing on big business. So that is my little quamadoo for the day. Anyway, back to our world, Drunken Yarn rant over, and I bet you all $5, which is a lot of money because a lot of you watch this channel, that they're not even going to see this and watch it, so I won't even get any repercussions. Maybe I will, and that's okay because I can defend myself. Whew. All right, so yesterday I put up on my Facebook wall, I said, what would you like me to cover in this week's behind the scenes video? I put ... business or personal. And the first response back I got was from Cassandra. She said business. And I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to add business question. Ooh, kind of potty mouth tonight. Sorry about that. You can tell when I get really, really tired. Oh, Squeaker's going to come in frame. I see you. You want to come over? When I get really tired, potty mouth. The Jersey comes out. It's awful. It's awful. Anyway, so I said, you know, is there any really particular question that you had in mind, Cassandra? And this is on the Facebook wall. And she said, talk about how you price handmade items. Well, okay, I can talk about that. Easy enough. You have to think, you know, if you're thinking about maybe, oh, you make these really cute hats, or you make really cute handbags, and you want to sell them, you have to think about where you're going to sell them. And Squeeze is right here by me. I know, I see you. He always wants to go outside when I start doing these videos. When you start saying, okay, I'm going to make these items and sell them, and you know, maybe you look at Etsy. Etsy seems to be like the main place to go. And nothing against Etsy. You know, I've had friends that have had fantastic success on it, but there are also like they're kind of like workaholics like I am. So if that's not really your thing, I would maybe put your efforts someplace else. Go to a really well-run independent store in your area and say, hey, would you do consignment or wholesale with me? I mean, you really want to do wholesale, and consignment sort of a second thing because then they're paying for your product up front and then you can move it quicker. but say, oh, I have this great hat or whatever, and I'd like to sell it. What do you think? And see what they say, because they're going to give you a lot of good feedback. They've been in business, and they can kind of help you through it, and almost you can get like a mentorship sort of thing going on. And I've seen a lot of people be successful in doing that and develop wholesale parts of their business. If you're looking to just reach out to so that's like, you have to think, am I going to wholesale or am I going to retail my product? You have to see what avenues you're going to do. Either way, I always say, or I think, I don't always say it, but I think I need to be able to mark this up wholesale. If I can wholesale it, I need to then maybe mark it up again to retail it, so I can still make a profit, still pay my taxes, still, pay for my internet and my mortgage and all this. And how can I do that? And is that reasonable? So what I mean by reasonable is this. Where do you live? You know who your friends are. You all know, do you have an extra $20 in your wallet at the end of the week? Do you have an extra $200 in your wallet at the end of the week? That's you to answer for where you live. For me, it's not like a totally affluent area, so I have to be a little bit more careful. And so I would think I would try to actually develop something around my demographic. If I know that maybe people can really max out on a weekly basis or a monthly basis spending $20, I need to price something that I can make for really around $3 or $4. And I'm talking labor and materials. And you might go, oh, Nicole, how are you? It's like, I'm going to be in a sweatshop, blah, blah, blah. And not necessarily. Part of the creative process is you don't get paid initially with the creative process. At least that's what I've learned. And I grow my business by a lot. Of course, you want to make millions of dollars making all this beautiful stuff that you make, but really you have to look at the reality of what the economy is where you are. And you can't just wave a magic wand and try to overforce it on people. Yes, you'll get a couple of people who will buy your items, like family members and friends, but then you can't keep tapping that same well. So you have to really think more like a business and say, okay, where can I make something between $3 and $5 range where I feel I'm getting paid for what I'm doing? So maybe it's just like you can knit up a quick headband or something very small, and that's okay. It's just getting your product out there and getting you into some of what I like to always say, like your Fisher Price items that you're going to put on the market. Again, be careful of oversaturated markets already, like your Etsy's, like your eBay's. Try to keep it local, right? So with that, you need to say, what's the discretionary income, and then what am I making? And you want to, so say you make something for $5, okay, after, say you make these cool bracelets and they cost you $3.50 of material and $1.50 of your time to make, right? And you have to figure out what your time means to you. For me, I work a lot, so if I were to sit down and actually make bracelets, I have to say, okay, I'm losing money at my business that I work at, Darn Good Yarn, for me to make these bracelets. What does that come out to? And it's a lot more now, that I've run a full-time business, very full-time. So those bracelets now, which would have maybe been a couple of years ago, I would have retailed them for $10. Now, because my time is so much more precious to me, I'll retail them for $20. Not that I really would do that. I'm just using it as an example where you have to really take a good look at what you're worth. And that fluctuates too, right, with, where you are in your life, which is fine. So anyway, you want to say, okay, this is what it's worth, $5, $5. Now, I might go over to my local hairdresser and say, sweetie darling, can you just carry a couple of my bracelets and see how they move? She might go, sure, darling. Put them out here, make a little sign, blah, blah, blah. What do you want to sell them for? Say, well, do you think you can maybe wholesale them? She might go, well, let's just try it out. Let's just retail them and I'll let you keep the profit. And that might happen. If you're in a small town, that could definitely happen. So what I would do with that $5, with maybe possibly the intention of wholesaling them, is you would take that $5, at least double it, so $10, and then you can, between 30, you want to multiply between a multiplier of 1.6 to 2 off that $5. So you're going to wind up selling that. So that's your wholesale rate, right? That 1.7 to multiply by 2. So you're looking at around $8. Let's just say $8. You would wholesale these bracelets to your friend if you wound up really getting in business, and she would mark them up again. So really, your $5 product now turns into a $15 retail product. And that gives you enough wiggle room, because believe me, if say this takes off and blossoms, you don't want to be selling your $5 bracelet for $10. And I'll tell you why. The price of your taxes, the price of everything else that goes into running a business. If you're operating on a small margin, the biggest thing that will take a business out above anything else is lack of cash flow management. And you can't infuse enough money if you're just marking up double and expecting to make this huge amount of profit. And I hate to be that like, oh, bummer, dude. You know, if you're putting $20 worth of raw product into your product and trying to resell it just for $40 because you think that's a fair price, you might need to rework your business model a little bit. You know, what can you do? Is there a way that you can maybe make your bag smaller, or whatever your product is a little bit smaller so you're using a little bit less yarn? You have to look at it from that way. Make it as lean as possible from the beginning, and then you can add on, of course, later on. Like for me, when I first started off with my yarn, I had a very basic yarn, and I made it perfect, and I packaged it as perfectly as I can without going overboard, so that people were still willing to get the value, because they don't just want to pay for the packaging, right? And then from there, you can start moving into more exotic yarns, because now I have like sari ribbon and all this stuff. But it's a slow progression. Don't do it all at once. And really, I'm happy to answer any questions like that. I'm at it's a longer video, but I'm hoping that this really helps you kind of think about where you need to start thinking about pricing. If you have other questions, or you want me to expand on any points, I know I go sort of fast here, just hit me up on my Facebook wall or email me directly, Nicole, Nicole, @darngoodyarn.com, or feel free to give me a call too, and we can chat it up and I can do a video about it. My number is 207-564-2822, and you can get that off my website, darngoodyarn.com. Have a great evening, everyone. Talk to you soon.